This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
This
Just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. I'm Erica in for Jeff. So we're starting with a pretty serious story. Marvel has dropped actor Jonathan Majors from future projects after he was found guilty of reckless assault and harassment of his ex-girlfriend. Now, Jonathan was seen leaving the New York courtroom with actress Megan Good. His ex-girlfriend testified that she was left with a fractured finger and a cut behind her ear after a fight broke out between her and Jonathan over a flirty text he received on his phone. Now, Jonathan had played Marvel villain Kang in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania?
Yeah. Quantumania. You sound like a big fan.
Quantumania. And in the Disney Plus series Loki, but has since been dropped from future marketing campaigns and by his talent agent. He will be sentenced in February and faces just under a year in jail. Now, I just want to preface this by saying that this is a very polarizing story for people. And to me, domestic violence is not polarizing in any way, but I also know that domestic violence isn't necessarily linear. And so when people have this conversation and they don't include nuance, which shouldn't even have a place in this conversation, it is also important because it's possible that there's more than one player in this situation. So to blanket the whole thing, I think where I come from, based on experiences that have been close to me, is the moment that two people have decided to blur the lines and allow there to be physicality in a relationship, it's a wrap.
Yes.
It's a wrap. There's nothing good that is going to come from this equation. To me, that's period, point blank.
Right. And you said earlier that Erica's done the research.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely have read the articles, but I feel like Erica's been following the story from day one. You said even though in the court of law, he was convicted, and we have not seen her be convicted, you said that both of their hands are not clean.
I do feel like there aren't clean hands in either party.
Okay.
Yes.
And there's footage to support that, which I've seen, which is the woman, the one who is accusing John, well, he's been convicted, but she chased him down several city blocks, and there's city surveillance of this during this fight. So what Erica's saying is so true, that it seems like just a volatile situation of both parties really occurred, and unfortunately she got hurt. There's photos of that are horrible, but she didn't run away, she ran towards, which has me questioning things too.
He's really lost it all.
It's
lost,
just
and I'm not saying he shouldn't have.
No, his whole life.
He has been set up, when you say, and I set up within this franchise, to become the biggest villain, where there is going to be other movies surrounding him, and it would have just been this arc where I can't imagine the money, the fame, the influence that would have come along with that. That has all been removed.
Yeah, I mean, and Eric, I appreciate you setting the table. It's a very difficult table to set, because in a weird way, when we do think about domestic violence, we should think about protecting women, as we do. I think that's just our nature. You know, most of the time, usually it is a woman that's been assaulted in the situation.
There's also a biological difference between men and women.
Right, there's a size difference. And when you look at a situation like this, I think if we all take a look back at our lives and people we've known, the hundreds of people we've known, high school, college, post-college, whatever, we've seen people in these kinds of relationships.
Yeah, right.
You don't see them on rom-coms on the Hallmark Channel, but you see couples that are having screaming arguments in the car, couples that somebody goes, hey, you need to step outside the bar, that's getting a little weird out there. Unfortunately, this seems like one of those relationships, and we can't help that they were in that. It's going to be difficult for us. It's impossible for us as people outside of that relationship to unpack that. But we do need to understand the gravity of what has happened. And maybe this will be a wake-up call for people in said relationships, because it is very easy to get into relationships like this, because when relationships burn hot like that,
Yeah, there's
where
passion.
Right.
where there's that much anger,
Right.
there's going to be that much passion
Sure.
as well. And a lot of people are drawn to that passion, and they see that as love, and the consequence of it is having these incredibly strange, drawn-out fights. I think
Especially
she
if
ended
they
up at
grew
a
up that way.
nightclub at the end of that
Especially
night.
if they grew up that way and it was
Absolutely.
modeled to them.
Right.
Well, it's almost like, I love what you say all the time, Sam, is like when women are going through trauma, they tend to, they
act
punish
inward.
right, and men punish outward. And I think when we think about domestic violence, people think that it only affects them. It's like an inward versus outward.
Yes.
But what they don't understand is that the volatility between the two of you, and even the agreement to continue on with volatility between two people, goes outward into every part of your life. So when you think that you're being selfless and like, oh, it has nothing to do with anyone else, you don't understand the impact that it has to do on other people. And what they're learning in very real time is it's so impactful because it radiates outside of everything they do, whether it's personal or professional. And it's not just about the two of you. So I hope that, again, that people are really taking this into consideration, that the thing that you might have the hardest thing walking away from is the very thing that's going to save your life in the long run.
Well said.
Man.
Well, moving on, Amy Robach and TJ Holmes are once again talking about their relationship in the latest episode of their podcast. And could wedding bells be in their future? Let's have a listen.
We did not enter this relationship for fun or for let's see what happens. We entered this relationship because we intended on spending our lives together. We both have 2 marriages under our belts. And so it's not something we're racing to or rushing towards.
I want to marry you because you are 50 and I'm 46. And I'm
You had to point that
very
out.
sick of introducing you, a 50-year-old woman. This is my girlfriend. That just sounds stupid.
But thank you for noting the age difference.
2 marriages under their belts. I prefer to put mine on the mantle. Well, meantime, Amy and TJ say that their kids will lead the way on how they plan on spending their holidays. Amy has 2 kids with her first husband, and TJ has 2 kids with his first wife and a daughter with his second.
I feel that Al always says this. You need that person in your life that's like, yo, dog. I can't say yo, dog.
No, you did it.
Yo,
You
dog.
own it.
You did?
I like
Okay.
it. You
Yo,
made
dog.
it your own. I like
Thanks.
it.
You should really stop. You gotta turn the volume down.
one good
People
friend.
won't need you to sit down. And I'm not saying that condescending. Nobody cares. No, actually, you're making us angry. You're activating us to be annoyed with you. Stop the podcast. Maybe reformat. This ain't working. For the majority of people I know, it is annoying.
It feels like the Twilight Zone, where they think they're in this like Hallmark movie and we're all sitting on the couch with our popcorn, rooting them on, gushing over them. We're not.
No one cares, dude.
Yeah,
Get away from us.
I don't, and I hate saying that because I'm all for love, but the way this came about, fine. Many people have this same narrative when it comes to infidelity in marriages. It's how they talk about it.
Totally.
It's
Yeah.
almost like there's like this tone deafness.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna
please
disagree.
do.
Though.
I welcome
I
it.
think by what you said at the end, that this has happened to other people, it makes them the anti-hero. They are swimming in a lane that no one else is actively touching. If you think about how even the Kardashians came to fame and power, they swam in a lane that no one else would touch. And by virtue of the fact that 50% of marriages end in divorce, there's something happening somewhere.
But we seem to not care. Like, I look at Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. When they had infidelity, we all couldn't get enough of it. Not saying it's right.
Right.
There's a difference.
There's a pride.
I understand why you feel that way,
Yeah.
but I do think that they're taking a calculated risk, and only time will tell
We'll have to see.
if it was the right
Right.
risk or not.
It just feels like they're very proud of it.
They're talking to somebody. We'll be right back.
shots of them being like to paparazzi. It's
so
just
irritating.
I don't know what it is that leaves a sour taste in
It's
my
the
mouth.
phoniness.
I wish I didn't have a sour taste.
It feels phony to me. It feels like they're prideful.
I'm not saying I want to clarify. I don't mean that it needs to be embraced. I just think that sometimes we look at it like the majority is like, no, we don't want this, but we never think about what the minority is looking for. Right. And if they even got, let's say, 50,000 listens per episode one, it's the monetization. And then if it continues and there's longevity, then clearly they're having, because their narrative has been from the beginning that they didn't cheat on their spouses. Right. Their narrative has been that they never told that they had broken up with their spouses, which a lot of people could relate to. I could relate to that. Right. No one knew that my ex-husband and I had divorced until I was posting pictures of my wedding
but maybe
a couple of years later.
Maybe it's their personality I don't like.
Maybe it is.
I don't like
I think
them.
if they had gone into this with a narrative, if they had like the narrative where they said, our podcast is about leaving a loveless marriage with love for love.
Right.
I think a lot of people are like, me and Tori had a great relationship. We're not together anymore. I love Erica, but I don't know how to transition from Tori to Erica.
Totally.
Here's how we did that.
Right.
I understand I hurt Tori.
Right.
Tori understands that
but
there was
no
love left.
There.
In unpacking these really human emotions about transitioning, and sometimes relationships are dead. But when you just go, oh, you're 50, I don't want to call you my girlfriend anymore. It just seems juvenile, and I feel like they're missing. The jacket was bad. I feel like they're missing an opportunity to have a real conversation. But then, can they have that?
Welcome back to DBL. Food Network star Guy Fieri recently inked a 3-year deal with the network for a reported $100 million, baby. Whew.
That's what I signed for.
But
That's not my contract.
He won't be leaving any of that money to his kids unless they agree to his terms. Now, Guy has 2 sons and is also helping raise his nephew. And he told Fox News they need not 1, but 2 degrees before they get any of his fortune. Watch.
I told my boys, none of this that I've been building are you going to get unless you come and take it from me. My youngest son, Ryder's a senior in high school, getting ready to graduate, going to graduate in the spring. And he's like, Dad, this is so unfair. I haven't even gone to college yet. And you're already pushing that I got to get an MBA. He says, can I just get through college? I'm like, hey, it's, if you want, Shaq said it best. Shaq said it about his kids one time. He says, if you want any of this cheese, you got to give me 2 degrees.
His son thinks it's unfair.
Erica, I couldn't get past that. I was going to just make my comment, but that was ringing in my head. Your dad has set you up for generational wealth. All you have to do is go party for 4 years. Let's be real.
College is good.
And then collect, maybe stay an extra year and then get that 100 mil. And he's like, this is totally unfair. He's young, so we'll give him a pass. I love this idea. I think if I could go back and do it all again, business and finance would have been somewhere in my background because I know nothing. I'm a smart aleck. I know a lot of random info, but don't know anything about money. And I would change all that to know a little bit about money and not have to learn the hard way.
I would agree. I know nothing. I'm with you. Very big, smart, like you know. Oh, there's my earring. Don't know anything about money. And may I say, you worked on the Shaq show.
I did.
But I've been studying Shaq because I didn't realize what a businessman he was.
Oh, my goodness.
And he always said, I'm not an athlete that became a businessman. I'm a businessman that happened to be good at sports.
That's exactly what he is.
Right? And
he's a natural-born showman.
Yeah. So I'm following these, and I think if someone gave me the idea that you can go pay for college and get a PhD in art history and Florentine Renaissance art, you betcha I'd do it.
And it's not only that. It's not only, in my opinion, as a parent, when you tell your children, I want you to go get 2 degrees, it's not just the knowledge that you're going to be able to consume, but it's also the diligence and the determination,
work
and
ethic,
the perseverance, the commitment, turning things in on time, the socialization. So I think being on your own, I think all those those things he thought about before he actually told his children what his stipulation is. And I think that's really good parenting.
I agree.
Because you can have all the money in the world and then you raise two entitled brats. And what kind of legacy is that? So kudos to Guy Fieri.
Yeah. I always call it the University of Life. I would not have been able to go into the real world without going to university, but that was just me. I know everybody's different. Coming up on DBL, we're talking with Mandy Moore. How does her role on Dr. Death differ from playing Rebecca on Mrs. Us?
Social media is full of travel hacks, including this TikTok with more than 6 million views that claims you can save money on your next flight by buying a ticket with a layover in the city where you actually want to go.
So I ended up just finding a flight to Minneapolis, but the layover was in Dallas.
It's called skip lagging or hidden city ticketing. But is it really a risk-free way to save money on flights? Our sources are the contracts of carriage for the nation's 10 major airlines and travel website Going.com. Let's say you want to fly from Seattle to Dallas, and the ticket costs $300, while the ticket from Seattle to Tampa that stops in Dallas is $200. The travel hacks encourage people to buy the cheaper ticket and just not bother getting on the Dallas-Tampa leg. But this practice is banned by every major airline except Allegiant Air, which doesn't sell connecting tickets. The other airlines caution if they catch you, they could invalidate your ticket. There are also other consequences. Southwest and Alaska say they may charge you the difference in fare, and United warns it can permanently ban passengers. That said, as a one-off, it could also save you some money.
While it can be a handy tool to occasionally use, it does come with consequences if abused, and it's not for the infrequent traveler that doesn't understand those consequences and how to actually apply it. By no means, as a travel expert, am I suggesting it, but at the same time, it's not illegal.
So, no, skip lagging or hidden city ticketing is not a risk-free way to save money on flights, and it's up to you to weigh whether the savings are worth the risk. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
You to look into someone for me.
He's experimenting on people.
I want to see it with my own eyes.
My team and I have to deal with very extreme cases.
Just the ones extreme enough that nobody will notice when you kill them.
Welcome back. That was a clip from season 2 of Dr. Death. It's based on a true story about an Italian surgeon's disgraced career. Earlier, we spoke with Mandy Moore about her role. Check it out.
There she is, Mandy Moore. Welcome to DBL.
Hi, friends. How are you?
Hey, great to see you.
Oh, we're friends with Mandy Moore. All right, Mandy, let's jump right in. Dr. Death is a drama anthology series based on medical true crime stories. So I got to know, are you personally a fan of true crime yourself?
I'm not a true crime junkie, but yes, I'm definitely a fan. I was a fan of the first season of the show. The show is based on a Wondery podcast. I was a fan of the podcast, so it was the perfect balance for someone like me who loves a little sentimental to be able to bring a little darkness into my life.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, season 2 of Dr. Death is based on the true story of an Italian surgeon's disgraced career. He actually transplanted synthetic tracheas into patients. I am a true crime fanatic, Mandy, and I did not know about this story. Were you aware of it before joining the show?
I wasn't aware of it, no, but once I got cast, I devoured every single story I possibly could about it. It's so deep and dark and twisted, it almost is unbelievable. And I play this investigative journalist who ends up doing a story about Dr. Paolo Macchiarini that only brings him more notoriety and obviously engenders patients around the world to trust him even more, to do in some circumstances this very elective new sort of form of surgery. But my character and his character fall in love, and obviously as duplicitous as he is, as deceptive as he is, that trickles into the personal side, not just the professional, like medical side. So that's what I think differentiates this season and is just so fascinating to see someone with that kind of sociopathy.
Yeah.
I've been following the story, and it gets every turn. You're like, well, I couldn't believe the other one, so this turn is even crazier. So I can't wait to see this. But I have to ask you about the nuts and bolts of just how you prepare. Because the last time we saw you was on This Is Us, and you played, it's a heartwarming drama. People cried and you pulled on our heartstrings.
Exactly.
Yeah, and now you went to a true crime. So like, how do you prepare as an actor to make that kind of jump?
Yeah, slightly different, but I think as an actor, that's what you're looking for. You're looking to find something really challenging. I mean, I was coming off of 6 seasons of a show like This Is Us, and I was like, what's different? Like, what can I dive into that I've never done before? And the opportunity to do a show like this came around, and tonally, it was just so wholly different. The way it was shot, the way it looks, like obviously what it speaks to is just so different that was the most exciting prospect for me, to really just dive in. And I'm playing this investigative journalist. Like, yeah, it was just something I'd never like dipped my toe in before.
It also speaks to your ability to transform and take you with us as an actor. So speaking of This Is Us, yes, girl, of course, your flowers, here you go. You went through a lot of physical changes as Rebecca Pearson. Did it freak you out seeing yourself physically look older?
No, I loved it. In fact, I feel like it prepared me for the aging process that is very much happening to me now. Like, it's weird because I don't think I looked like my mom or my grandma. I didn't recognize like family members, but I mean, I think Rebecca Pearson aged really well. I don't know what lotions and potions she was using, but I'm like, I'll take some of that because she looked really good.
Maybe it's just you.
No, it was the makeup department making those choices for me, but I'm like, dang, I want to look like that at 70.
Yeah, you look good.
Mandy, thank you so much. It was great speaking with you, and thanks for coming on DBL. To our viewers, all 8 episodes of Dr. Death Season 2 will premiere on Peacock on December 21st. Thank you again. Congratulations.
Can't wait to watch it.
We'll be right back.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Have you heard of the term iPad kids? These are just a few posts going around X. If you search for that term, basically they talk about how kids are on their devices all the time. So can too much screen time lead to development delays? Let's get the facts. Our sources, Dr. Amira Zuzo, pediatrician with Novant Health, Dr. Marie Trace, behavioral pediatrician for the Cleveland Clinic, a study published in JAMA Pediatrics, and the American Academy of Pediatrics. Kids screaming. Sometimes it's easier to just hand them a device.
I have this conversation several times a day. We certainly understand that technology is here to stay. And so it's very important to discuss it with your child's pediatrician.
Dr. Zuzo knows there is no way to really escape the screen, but says for children 5 and under, it's important to think about how much time they're spending looking at it.
The screen time can certainly affect development in children, especially if we started as early as 1 year old. And it really depends on what kind of quality screen time that is and how much they're using it.
The study of more than 7,000 children found too much screen time for a child at age 1 could lead to developmental delays, specifically when it comes to communication and problem solving at the age of 2 and 4.
I'm looking at a screen. There's not a lot that's being asked of me, right? Versus navigating my environment, playing with my toys, being outside.
So where's that sweet spot? According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, there should be no screen time before a child is 18 months old and no more than an hour a day for kids between 2 and 5 years old. Dr. Zuzo says it also depends on a few things: what children are watching and whether it's interactive. If it sparks children's creativity, that's better than just staring at a screen. With your Verify Fact Check, I'm Megan Bragg.
Have you ever heard of weather-related joint pain? Our chief meteorologist posted this on his Facebook page, and it's gotten over 200 comments and shares. It's believed that changes in barometric pressure can trigger certain sensations in your joints. So let's get the facts.
Our sources are WCNC Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich and the Cleveland Clinic. Last weekend, the Carolinas were hit by a massive area of low pressure and an accompanying storm called a nor'easter. Panovich says it's that low atmospheric pressure that can really bring the pain.
When there's high pressure, it's like having a mountain of air above your head.
When there's low pressure, the atmosphere is actually thinner, so there's less air pushing on your body.
A Cleveland Clinic study on people who live with arthritis found that their aches increased on days with higher humidity, lower barometric pressure, and stronger winds. But why is this?
People that have injuries or arthritis, they have fluid or voids in their joints. And what happens is when the pressure goes down, those voids or fluids expands. So it puts a little pressure on your joint and causes discomfort or pain.
And in the wintertime, Panovich says that's when you feel it the most.
You throw in the fact that it's cold outside and people tend to feel things a little more when it's chilly.
So next time your body is aching, check the WCNC weather app. You might be able to blame it on the weather. With your Verify Fact Check, I'm Megan Bragg.
Welcome back. We've got some great products from our friends at Morning Save. Check them out.
All right, Steph, what do you have for us today?
Hey, Jeff. Hey, DBL Nation. I am super excited to show off the deals today, and trust me, they are fabulous. So check this out. It's a LumaCare LED Therapy Face Mask. So this deal includes one mask with a remote, and normally this is $100, but today we've got it for $29.99. That is saving 70%. We've got the Calphalon 14-piece space-saving hard anodized non-stick cookware set. This deal includes a 2.5 quart saucepan with a cover, a 3.5 quart saucepan with a cover, a 10-inch fry pan, a 3-quart saute pan with a cover, a 5-quart Dutch oven with a cover, a solid spoon, right here, a slotted spoon, a solid turner, a pasta fork, and tongs. Normally, this is $320. We have got the set for $149.99. That is saving 53%. How cool is this? We've got the 2-pack Cobalt Cascade waterproof decorative LED spheres. So this deal includes 2 spheres with 2 remotes. We've got them available in different sizes, like you can see here. Normally, this is $158 to $200, but we've got a 2-pack for $29.99 to $49.99. That is saving up to 81%. And then we have got the 2.5 carat TW cubic zirconia necklace with matching earrings. This deal includes 1 necklace and 1 pair of earrings that come in a gift box. So normally it is $60, but we have got the set for $14.99. which is saving 75%.
Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices, or you can even scan the QR code on the screen to take you directly to these products on Morning Save's website. Thank you so much, Steph.
Ooh, y'all all done Christmas shopping?
I just finished.
Oh, congratulations.
Mazel.
So
jealous.
Yep, I got to wrap gifts, and then Santa will bring in Santa gifts, and then done.
Do you do the Santa in the snow print like he was there?
He was there.
I mean, he was there clearly, but he's also like with the he was there, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Right. I meant with the powdered sugar.
Yeah. It's okay. She's confused. She didn't get to
I'm Jewish.
Christmas for years.
I'm sorry.
DBL is new every day. We'll be back tomorrow. Bye.